So the week started pretty quietly. I started to think this week's roast would be basically a rundown of the selection of week's community releases. However, drama and surprises are rarely far away in the paranormal community. Now, as a cultural analyst and historian, I am the first to highlight the importance of looking back through the decades and centuries at the research, experiences, fakery, and investigations into the paranormal. We did not invent the paranormal. We follow in the footsteps of many who went before us, and they should be remembered and considered when we look at the paranormal as it is now. Keep that in mind when I say this. The Warrens. Are they part of our paranormal history and influence? Yes. Have they been debunked? Yes. Are they still being researched? Yes. And why not? Have at it. But they are not a subject I am particularly interested in, unless they are particularly relevant to a topic I am covering. In my opinion, there's a lot more to research. However, just to put a disclaimer here, that wouldn't stop me from covering them should I feel it relevant, okay? So the big news of the week was overnight buying the Warrens' house and museum and being custodians of the contents of said museum for 5 years.
This is it, everyone. Welcome to the world's most haunted house that Matt and I purchased. This is pretty crazy. It's doing it again. It's doing it again. This is it. I don't know how. Welcome to Ed and Lorraine Warren's house and museum.
Seems excessive to need to be designated legal custodians over items from charity shops and yard sales. Haunted items are the snake oil products of the 21st century, along with a good deal of ghost hunting equipment. It seems that we can't stop the rot. A week ago, I released a video about Sam and Colby releasing a board game and launching an escape room. Smart business move. They are not getting any younger. But is it a good thing for the paranormal in general? When I released the video, I was unsure, but then overnight bought the Warren House and Museum, and this is really starting to look like a disturbing trend of fakers promoting fakery. I'm going to continue to watch this space to see how the trend develops. It's too soon to assess its effect upon the paranormal in general. Mainstream paranormal enterprises and shows are generally, let's say, unreliable. The long-standing desire by the audience to be entertained and scared has historically always been there, and those that seek to debunk and research it properly have long been in the minority. But this is why research institutes, real paranormal channels, and the debunking community are more important than ever. The big channels obviously have the big audience. They are misrepresenting the paranormal en masse, and the mainstream audience love it. So another video I want to highlight came out last night, released by Selena Spooky Boo, using Aussie as part of the clickbait thumbnail. So she discussed how many major musicians got their fame and riches by making a deal with the devil.
Imagine this. You're standing at the crossroads, alone, broke, desperate. You've got the talent, you have the drive, but the world just isn't listening. Then, out of the shadows, someone appears. They know your name, they know your dreams, and they offer you everything. Fame, fortune, influence, the kind of success that legends are made out of. But there's one catch. You have to give up your soul. Sound like folklore? Maybe. But some say this is the exact deal that still happens in the music industry today.
It was a cross between stand-up comedy and conspiracy theory. I am going to do a video looking at this subject in a deep dive analysis, so keep an eye out this week for that to be released. And speaking of Selena Spooky Boo, let's start looking at some of the videos released by the community this week. Seg released a follow-up video to his video about Selena's Stalker story.
Amazing how Selena's psychic medium abilities kick in after the fact, isn't it? Interesting how her spidey sense didn't seem to trigger while she was actually talking to the killer. We can all be psychic mediums in hindsight, right?
It was a hard-hitting piece and gained mixed reactions, but by and large, most supported Seg's analysis. 3 days later, he released a follow-up video, which served to reinforce his views on the first analysis. Paranormal Monkey Boy had a live podcast interviewing Alice Vernon about the history of ghost hunting. Well worth a look, even if he has a new laptop, so the bad limp syncing is no longer part of the podcast. Bit disappointing. We'll have to find new things to make comments about. Shouldn't be difficult. I'd like to shout out Days of Horror, a channel recommended to me by John Boy Patton. They cover true crime and sometimes include the paranormal connected to those events. Very well produced, very good research. I highly recommend them. This week they released a video from 30 East Drive going over its history and events. Please check them out. They are well worth having a look at. Beardo exposed TV exorcist Ian Lawman, discovering he had no affiliation with the Church of England as an exorcist, in a well-researched and well-presented video. Entity 7 Paranormal Joe Vitale and Matt Benton of the Paranormal Research Unit both released a teaser trailer for their upcoming documentary film Evil Unearthed, which is already winning awards and will be streamed across multiple platforms. Keep an eye on both channels for further updates. For me this week, a lot of projects going on at once, as usual. At some point, I'll be doing a members live at some point, but my regular Tuesday live will be me asking you questions for a change. The next 2 video releases will be the Selena reaction and analysis into the historic influences of Deals with the Devil, and also my fake paranormal photography deep dive. I am also hard at work on the first fantastic paranormal magazine. More updates to come on Patreon, members, and on the main channel. Keep an eye on me, keep an eye on everybody. Any recommendations for videos are always welcome that you want me to mention in the Sunday roast. Until next time, see you later.